Hey everybody, and welcome to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Ash Paulson, and today I'm joined by my wonderful friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Foley and Derek Bittner, along with a very dear friend of mine and our special guest for the day, Nadia Oxford, co-host of the Axe of the Blood God RPG podcast. Nadia, how's it going?
It is going quite well. I am very happy to be here. It's great to see you, Ash. I'm always happy to work with you. You've been on Axe of the Blood God many times, and you're always welcome there as well.
Yes. You and I go way back in the industry. We've done a lot of stuff together. I've known you since your US Gamer days, and we've been working on lots of cool stuff together. In fact, right now, you and I are working on an Udon project together, along with your husband, David, the Maverick Hunter's Field Guide, and that's progress on that is coming along very well, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's been really fantastic. You've done some really great edits and caught some really stupid mistakes already, so we're appreciative of that.
Please, it's fine. It's my pleasure, and don't even say stupid mistakes. You guys did the lion's share of the actual writing and research. I mean, you've got over 80 Mavericks to get straight at this point.
A whole lot of Mavericks, 50, a whole lot 56. Of characters.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you guys did an amazing job.
I'm really looking forward to it coming out. Should be coming out in the summertime. You can pre-order it now if you look it up on Amazon. If you're curious, go ahead.
Yeah, it's essentially the sequel to Udon's Robot Master Field Guide, for those of you who may own that out there. It's the sequel to that, and it's a lot of fun, and I could not be more appreciative of the incredible work that you and David have done on it.
Well, thank you. Really looking forward to the final product.
Same. Well, with that said, we have a lot to get through today, a lot of news. But before we do that, we, of course, have a word from our sponsor for today's episode, who is Microphone. And Microphone wants to say, are you tired with the negativity in games coverage? Are you looking for a new game to play? Well, good news. Microphone is starting a new series finding all the good in media that's considered underrated, forgotten, or downright mediocre. The first 2 episodes have been released talking about Dead Island and everybody's favorite bobcat, Bubsy. Oh. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, man. Or, excuse me, what could possibly go wrong? Whatever the hell his dumb voice was. And once the channel hits 2,500 subscribers, there will be a very special episode on Fast and the Furious Crossroads, which is the true hype right there. So we will, of course, include a link to Microphone's channel in the description below for those of you watching the VOD. But please, make sure to check out his channel, drop a subscribe and likes on his videos. And for those of you in the chat, I'm posting a link to Microphone's channel right now, so you can check it out. There you go. And on top of that, I wanted to make sure to drop a link to Nadia's podcast, Axe of the Blood God, so you can check that out as well.
Yes, please do.
So,
hope you
there you go.
Weren't you on one of the first episodes for the relaunch, Ash, with the ranking the Final Fantasy games?
Yes, that was so fun. Even though I had to unnecessarily defend Final Fantasy 13 from those who
No, you need to defend that game because it is a trash game.
Oh,
13-2 is good.
Don't even get me
13-2 is good. 13.
You
don't do anything. You walk in a hallway, you push X to have it auto battle, and then they're done.
13-2 is great, and 13 is also great. I will hear no slander to the contrary, man.
The Final Fantasy 13 defender has logged on.
Yes, wow. Exactly.
I'm curious, since Nadia is I know she's such a big 14 fan, where were you able to get that to be placed in the ranking?
I can't remember if it was 3 or 2. It was pretty high up there.
Wow.
I think it was 2. Because how many of you?
I think it was 2.
Yeah. I think that, for me anyway, Shadowbreaker's story as a whole, including the patches, just really, really elevates it to one of the best Final Fantasy stories ever told, aside from 6, maybe.
We had so many people when we talked about it the new and the Endwalker coming out. So many people said they cried during Shadowbreakers.
I was bawling by 5.3.
It's an MMO. How is this thing? Wow. That's why I'm so curious.
I didn't think, people had warned me, it's really sad, and I thought, yeah, whatever. The only time I've cried that hard at a video game, and it always gets me every single time when I see it, is when I see the story of Aeris in Final Fantasy VII, when when her mother's recounting how she found Aeris at the train station. That always kills me every single time.
Good.
That's it, yeah.
No, 5.3, that patch in particular just destroyed me. I wrote a whole thing about one of the reasons up on US Gamer saying how it's, I can't remember the exact headline I used, but there's a parallel between dogs and a certain mount that a character has, and the bond between them brought back a lot of really strong memories for me.
Oh, nice. I'm sure that's going to affect me as well as a dog lover who recently lost a dog almost a year ago. So yeah, that's. But I really want to play it though. I kept hearing so many good things about FF14. As our audience knows, we talked about it for quite a while with Miss Sayanella in our last episode, and I think I'm going to try to get into it with the PS5 version. And but I will say, as strongly as I feel about FF13, I feel more strongly about FF12 and how much I don't like FF12, so I'm really glad I didn't have to I'm really glad I didn't have to deal with because there are people who are like FF12 is the best Final Fantasy by far, not even close, and I'm like no it isn't, it really isn't, it's not even close.
We had a big discussion about that. I think the episodes are actually free for everyone to listen to, so
I need to find some time to listen to that because I am very curious where everything ended up.
It's always. I think I was on a Final Fantasy ranking panel at PAX back in the olden days when we could converge and stuff like that, and it was the most slapdash crazy panel I'd ever been on. No organization whatsoever, but it didn't need to have any organization. We just sat up there and yelled for an hour, and the audience yelled back, and it was pretty good.
That seems fair enough. I haven't beaten every Final Fantasy game, so I can't officially rank it. I still haven't beaten. Let me think here. I haven't beaten 2, 5, 6, 12.
You're doing a lot better than me.
Well, then I hate to say it, but then your very wrong opinion on FF13 is now null and void, Derek. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. I just follow them.
I just said I beat 13.
I know, but you haven't beat 6, so anything you have to say about 13... null and void.
How can you even put those two in the same sentence? I haven't played 6, but I know it has much more quality than 13.
I mean, no, 6 is definitely better than 13, but still, 13 is a great game, and I will hear no lies to the contrary. None. In fact, I think, was it Jared Edinger who agreed with me? There's somebody in the chat who was agreeing with me. I can't remember who, but there was someone in the chat
you have
who
a
said,
defender.
13's great.
At least when I go back to 12, I can try out Zodiac Age. There's no better version of 13.
Yeah.
It was XQ Jonah who said, I love 13. And XQ Jonah, that is the correct answer. Well said. Although I will say, Jared Edinger had a really clever retort by saying Ash's opinions are falsi. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, the game just tosses you in there. What the hell's a lassie? What the hell's a falsi? You don't know in the beginning.
All right. Well, we could debate about Final Fantasy for literally forever. But I feel like we should probably go ahead and move on to the news. And with that said, let's go ahead and get our first topic up on screen. And this pertains to our favorite video game movie, Sonic the Hedgehog. It has finally gotten the sequel has gotten an official name. And it's groundbreaking. It's thought-provoking. It's something you never, ever expected to hear. It's Sonic 2. And it's releasing on April 8th, 2022. So... amazingly, we don't really have that long to wait for it. Really just over a year. And it feels like I just saw Sonic 1, even though that was the last movie I saw in theaters.
That was the last one I saw.
I mean, I think that's why it feels so recent, because you haven't seen anything else since.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Sonic 2 coming out on April 8th, 2022. Nadia, how do you feel about this?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, not like holy crap excited, but I am enthusiastic about it because I liked Sonic more than I thought I would. And I think the main reason is because Jim Carrey carried that whole movie practically. Sonic was cute. The logo seems to indicate, like with the little tails at the end of the logo, that Tails will be in this movie. I will say that the cameo at the end of the first movie, when Tails came on the screen, the guy behind me who was dressed in a Sonic suit, he screamed like he was on fire. Like they're like, like I thought I was gonna have to get a doctor. So he's probably really, really happy wherever he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that brought me to life. I was really happy, but I wasn't screaming. I will.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives the indication that cool, we have the chance of getting away from Earth, and we have more of the characters coming in. It has a chance to be maybe a little closer to the games. Although I saw something on Twitter today, I haven't had a chance to double check it. But that's a heck of a weekend. They've decided to release Sonic 2 because apparently that's also the same day that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse's sequel is coming out.
What?
Really? Oh, that's a hard one to decide.
Probably not the best day to
Let
release
me see.
that.
Let me take some time to find that out.
I mean, I'll watch both. absolutely.
I will, but I'm gonna have to give priority to Into the Spider-Verse too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I might have to as well.
I mean,
as excited as I am about Sonic 2, legitimately, Spider-Verse is on a hold.
Okay, I looked this up. I just looked it up, so I was wrong. Oh, no. Okay, it was originally supposed to come out on April 8th, 2022. It got delayed because of COVID. It's now October 7th. So that's...
Okay.
I was like, there's no way Sonic would be that dumb to go against Spider-Man.
Right. I'm
does some
loving
dumb things.
I'm loving all these these alternate movie titles for Sonic 2. Eddie Beale says Too Fast, Too Hedgehog. Rob Arman X says The Fast and the Furriest. I'm loving this.
I like that one.
That's a pretty good one. You know,
That's great.
I
I think
like
there was a
that they're-
direct-to-DVD Tom and Jerry movie called that.
Oh God.
I believe it.
I do like that they're kind of hewing closer to the games with this one. I like that Sonic 2 the movie also introduces Tails the same way Sonic 2 did on the Genesis. What I really hope is that we get Super Sonic in the Sonic 2 movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
If we're
think that's
going
important.
to Mobius or wherever, I want Chaos Emeralds and I want Super Sonic in this movie. I also want
Yeah.
Robotnik to just be absolutely like as crazy as he is in the games. Like I want a huge
I mean,
Yeah.
death.
they seem to be
bod.
going in that
It
direction.
seemed like they're with the end of the
No, I
first
agree
movie.
100%. I'm
wait.
just saying I want it to go like full on just ridiculous.
And I
Just
want
let
more
Jim carry
like
off his leash.
I want more like ridiculous double entendre Jim Carrey lines like "Let me show you what's in my egg sack," like stuff like that needs to be all over Sonic 2, and I can't
my
believe
God.
it. Oh man, I am really quite excited about this. And Tails has always been my favorite character from the series. I'm a big Tails fan, and I'm just so excited to that he's obviously going to feature heavily in this movie. He's in the logo, and we got that Emerald Hill Zone music sting in the logo reveal trailer, which was also cool. So clearly they're already going all in on the game fan service, and I love that. But Tails is not the only character who's going to feature in Sonic 2. We're also, of course, going to get Knuckles, who's tougher than leather as always. But the rumor is that Aquaman actor Jason Momoa has been tapped to provide Knuckles' voice, and I don't even know where to start with that. I don't even know.
You know what? It kind of works because my first thought was when I saw look at Knuckles, and maybe it's stereotypical. I don't know, but I thought it'd be kind of cool if it got a black voice actor for him. But isn't
I think so.
Momoa he's an islander, right? And I don't know which island, but Pacific Islander.
Was it Samoa? Was he Samoan?
I
can't
think
recall.
so.
He might be
Yeah,
Samoan,
I'm not sure.
which also everybody's in the chat saying should have been The Rock, but I mean he's Samoan too, so
He's actually Samoan, half Nova Scotian black. He's which is a really
Oh,
interesting
well, there you go.
background.
Oh, didn't know that.
I mean, I could see
I
Jason Momoa
think
doing a
it
good
means
job.
his ancestors like fled to Canada, but yeah, he's definitely part Nova. He's definitely half black.
Oh, okay.
okay. I've not seen Aquaman, but I heard that was dumb fun, so there's that. And the only real acting I've seen him in is as Khal Drogo, which he doesn't speak English in, so it's hard to really get a
Oh,
sense.
that's right. Doesn't he grunt? I mean,
He grunts.
Doodle
so
says
a crown for a
Doodle
king,
says-
or whatever that line was.
Yeah.
apparently Jason Momoa is from Nanakuli, Hawaii, according to
Oh,
Doodle in the
okay.
chat.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
he was. Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
I think
But-
he'll do a good job if he
I
has
think
I
that's
think
it's pretty good casting right there.
I feel like he'll
Yeah.
have fun with the role.
Yeah.
I'm
mean,
curious where they're going to take Knuckles' character in this. Like, is he going to be the same kind of easily fooled, bumbling but lovable idiot he is in the games, and to a much harsher degree in Sonic Boom, or is he going to be a straight up villain? I can't imagine that it'll make him a straight up villain because that's
No,
not
I don't think
Knuckles.
straight up villain, but I do think they'll go with the bubbling, naive guy.
I think so.
That's kind of puts on a tough
Hey,
face.
Dr. Eggman, you seem all right. I'll be your friend. Oh no, where'd the emerald go?
Yeah.
Right. Not to get too much into Sonic movie lore here, but I do think it would be a pretty interesting twist if we find out that Knuckles maybe was responsible for the potential death of Sonic's mom. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. But we saw at the beginning of Sonic
Right,
the
the
movie,
echidnas.
the echidnas chasing
Yep.
down. I can't remember her name.
Longclaw.
Longclaw. They were chasing her down. So what if we were to find out that Knuckles delivered the killing blow, if there was such a killing?
No, I don't think they'll do that.
No?
I don't know. I think him just being an echidna
dark.
is enough.
Probably just enough. Yeah.
That's enough to have that antagonism.
Imagine
there.
it was Sonic. I iced your mom. That would be like
'Cause,
no,
I mean-
Grimdark.
thunder,
Yeah.
lightning.
I mean, yeah. That said, here we go, Steve. Do you think Sonic is as forgiving as Goku, where he's like, you killed my friends, Vegeta, but we're cool to pal around?
Right. No, I don't think Sonic
we're
is that
friends.
forgiving. That is, I love the comparison. I mean, Super Sonic is basically Super Saiyan Sonic.
Oh
so I
yeah,
guess it's apt.
Hypersonic was
Right.
basically Super Saiyan 2, and I
Yep.
think they were like
Yeah.
they specifically stopped because like, oh no, we're treading down a path that people are starting to pick up
we
on.
can never stop. What's got it rolling down this hill?
Yeah.
I think
Rob
people have
Arman-
made the comparison between DBZ characters and Sonic characters before because
Yeah.
Silver's
Oh,
Trunks.
yeah. Well, and Super Sonic is
Oh,
literally
totally.
just
Literally.
Super Saiyan Sonic. I mean, it is clearly a direct reference to
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah, but I do hope we get Super Sonic. I mean, what we got in the first Sonic movie, just with what he already could do without the Chaos Emeralds, was really cool just to behold on the big screen. So I really hope we get to see that happen in Sonic 2. That would be really cool. Also, Rob Arman X says we need a Knuckles rap remix without Hunted P. And yes, yes, please sign
Pumpkin
me up.
Hill. Pumpkin
Yeah.
Hill. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. All right. Well, with that said, shall we go ahead and move on to our next story? And man, CD Projekt Red, they just cannot get a break. They are the latest video game developer to be targeted in a cyber attack, where hackers are now demanding a ransom for seized builds of Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3, among other things. And I'm just going to let the hackers say it better than I ever could. They sent a message to CD Projekt Red saying the following: "Hello, CD Projekt. You have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source code from your Perforce server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you most likely can recover from with backups. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, if you don't pay us what we're asking, we're going to release all
they're
this stuff,
trying to
blah, blah,
ransomware
blah.
the same way Capcom got ransomware.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've been given 48 hours to contact them, but this happened 2 days ago, so it's about that time, maybe
Yeah.
almost that time. For their part, CDPR has said they're not going to kowtow to their demands. They're not going to pay them what they want, and they understand the risks involved, but they have also assured people that they don't believe that anyone's personal information is at risk with these attacks. So I guess Witcher 3 fans out there, you might get a chance to check out an unreleased version of it pretty soon, or this sucks for them.
And yeah, it's dumb. This is
Is
the
a
dumbest
hacker
thing.
like is a hacker 100 years old with the word epically pwned? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
is this
right.
some grandfather doing this?
That's straight out of the early 2000s,
Yeah.
or
It
like,
so
is.
good.
I'm surprised I didn't say hacksaw. Spelled with a
right.
bunch of
You've been
zeros.
hacksaw.
I wish they had said, yeah.
Oh,
No,
man.
it really is just it's of its time for sure. And I guess they just didn't realize it's 2021 and people don't really say pwned anymore, epically or otherwise. Sorry, Steve, I cut you off.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, I hate that this is a thing that happens now to companies. I mean, not that I
Yeah.
love the companies. I don't love any company, but and CDPR certainly isn't worthy of admiration these days, or at least it feels like they shouldn't be. I hate that the information that comes out of some of these is interesting, though. Like, I will be the first to admit I'm very intrigued by the unreleased version of The Witcher 3. Like, does that mean that there's a whole separate build of The Witcher 3 that they
I think there's
scrapped?
speculation that it's the PlayStation 5 version.
Oh, that would...
Oh,
Yeah,
That would
make
help 'em.
sense.
yeah,
That's not
that
good.
would help them.
I mean, I feel bad. I feel like this is becoming a more commonplace. Like, these companies need to invest in better security, unfortunately. I mean, I feel like we all should have, or by we, I mean they, all should have learned from what happened to PSN back in, 2006?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was awful. And you think that game companies would take this as just deadly serious at this point and hire...
There are, yeah, you're right, because there are so many companies out there that don't even offer two-step authentication. Like,
Yeah.
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 I mean,
imagine in this day and age.
for years, and I don't know when they started this, but I just realized the other day that Sony now allows you to do 2FA through an app instead of via text message, which in in the other part of my life, the other professional part of my life, I'm an information security specialist.
Ooh,
And
so you have
when
opinions.
friends are setting up 2FA, I'm like, never, ever, ever use a text message because you can spoof a phone number very easily. It is way harder to crack someone's 2FA protected account to get into their password locker. And I was shocked that Sony offered this and didn't make a big deal about it, considering they were the ones who kind of shed a light on the fact that this industry is notoriously insecure. Good on you, Sony, for doing that. CDPR, I think we all know what's going to happen. We're going to be talking about this week after week as more stuff comes out. It's really shitty that this is kind of the go-to tactic for hackers now. And it's kind of shitty that, unfortunately, as gamers or as a community of consumers, we report on this because it is of interest to the people that play these games. Like, whatever stuff comes out of this, it's going to be on IGN, Kotaku, and everywhere else as it releases. And frankly, we'll probably talk about it here at some point too. We're talking about it now, right?
Right.
So I wish that this is one of those things that I hope this is a lesson for other people that are working in games. Hire an outside IT security firm. Have them review your stuff. Have them help you harden your defenses, because this is not a particularly hard thing to figure out for people that know how to do it.
Yeah, and it's it's unfortunate, as you said, Steve. It is incumbent upon us to talk about the news, and that does unfortunately qualify as news. But I think we would all prefer that it never makes the news, that these leaks don't happen, that these hacks don't happen. So, that's why it's such a bummer whenever a leak does happen, like, when a Smash character's leaked. We enjoy the surprise just as much as everybody else does. We'd rather it be a surprise, but we do have to talk about it because that's what we do. So, yeah, hopefully this serves as a lesson to CDPR to beef up their defenses, and, of course, other developers as well. But, Steve, there is one word you mentioned there that I thought served as a perfect segue into our next story, and that is shitty. And, so with that said, with that word in mind, let's go ahead and bring up our next news story.
Well, real quick before we bring up that news story, I saw in the chat one thing that really to talk about, because we have a bit of breaking news, not of the executive producer variety, but apparently they just cast Ellie in the Last of Us series.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's
who is
Bella Ramsey, who
she was on Game of Thrones.
She was on Game of Thrones. She was Lyanna Mormont, and who's amazing in that show. She stepped up so much, and that's like perfect for her. Apparently, she's also the voice of Hilda in the Hilda Netflix series, and is Angelica on His Dark Materials. So, that makes sense. I can totally see her as Ellie.
I also just read that Joel has been cast, or has that been debunked? I'm not, because apparently Joel has been cast, I'm going to totally butcher his name, but Mahershala Ali? Mahershala, I don't know how to say it, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Apparently, when I looked him up, I know exactly, I recognize
the Joel
his face.
one is
I've
a
seen him in
rumor,
plenty of stuff.
I believe.
Okay.
I don't think it's out and out confirmed. I don't know how to pronounce his name either, but he did a great job playing Remy on House of Cards back when everyone didn't know that Kevin Spacey basically was his character from
yeah.
Beauty.
I mean, if that casting as Joel is true or ends up being true, that there's certainly a lot to talk about there. I think it's great. He's a fantastic actor, but of course the usual crowd is going to be upset because they would be essentially changing Joel's race. I say go for it.
Which his race doesn't matter in that game in the slightest.
It doesn't matter at all, and that's the whole point. But yeah, I guess we'll find out if that's true. But Bella Ramsey seems like a great casting choice for Ellie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. That was a fun little
diversion.
Decidedly
Sorry about
not
that.
Shitty.
No, yeah, decidedly not shitty. That was not the shitty thing we're about to talk about. This is the thing I said was unfortunately shitty. Let's go ahead and bring that news up on screen. And Nintendo has announced the latest slate of NES and SNES Online games coming for February 2021. Yeah, so these are going to come out on February 17th, and they include such heavy hitters as Psycho Dream, Doomsday Warrior, and Prehistorik Man for Super Nintendo, and Fire and Ice for NES. And I have heard of a couple of these games. I haven't played any of them. I definitely am familiar with Fire and Ice and Prehistorik Man, but I mean, okay. Okay, I shouldn't complain because we just got the DKC trilogy, right? We
No, you
just
should
got
complain.
finished getting the trilogy, so I'm not complaining. At the same time, though,
I'm complaining.
yeah,
It's okay
I
to
mean,
complain.
yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for Earthbound. I guess like it feels like it's time for Earthbound to be on this thing, but
I've just had people say on Twitter, and they're absolutely right about this. Why were there so many caveman games in the 16-bit era?
Yeah, that's a good
Right?
question
yeah,
because
that's a really good point.
I consider myself fairly up to snuff and at least knowing about games. I might not have played them, but like yeah, I've heard of that. I know about that game. I have not ever heard about any of these games, and apparently Fire and Ice, I've seen a few people say is actually pretty good. It's a sequel to what is it, Milan's Castle?
Yeah,
oh,
I
is
think
it?
I've heard
I don't
it's
think
okay.
I knew that. Okay.
So there is that. And I think Solomon's Key. Sorry, Jared. Yeah, that was it. Solomon's
okay.
Key.
Didn't know that.
So it's a sequel to that. And a lot of people are actually pretty excited for Psycho Dream just because it seems kind of weird in a way. And it's actually pretty rare. I think like cartridges go for like $150.
Oh, wow.
So this is pretty good for collectors
Nice.
in that way. And the the summation of it on Nintendo Everything, which you have here, says Psycho Dream. When Sayaka doesn't return to reality
Yeah.
after entering an immersive virtual world known as D-Movie, the protagonist, Ryo Maria, must progress through a terrifying fantasy game called Legend of the Fallen Capital to rescue her and bring her back to reality. It's like,
Damn,
okay.
That sounds wild. I read that
sounds
too,
pretty
and I'm
cool.
like, what the hell is going on in this game?
So it's Sword Art Online, like 20
Kinda.
years
Yeah,
before.
yeah. But a little before its time there.
Man, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Fucking come on. It's 2021, and Nintendo's giving us a drip feed of like 3 or 4 games a fucking month.
I'm more
If
upset about
that.
the drip feed. The drip feed is what sucks. The games,
Yes.
you know what? I kind of like that they're highlighting these lesser known titles. I'm
That's a
not
fair
upset
point.
about that at all. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
These are games that you might not have checked out before. You can try them out for the first time. And, that's neat. But why does it take 4 months?
Yeah, here's
Right.
No, absolutely.
Nintendo
Yeah,
has the strongest back catalog of any platform holder, and they just refuse to fucking leverage it. It is so
Yeah.
crazy. It's maddening that
They could get Earthbound Beginnings on the NES service. Why is that not a thing?
And
Yeah,
what
I
really
mean,
makes it
again,
frustrating.
on one hand, we did just finish getting the DKC trilogy, so like I don't want to like turn my nose up too much. And this is the first slate in quite a while that has not had a high profile classic in it, right? So I'll in the interest of fairness, let's say that. But at the same time, it would be nice if these were flanked by something that people really want as well,
Yeah,
like Earthbound
exactly.
or whatever. Yeah.
I keep hearing rumors about how Nintendo is getting ready to go balls to the wall with their retro catalog and really put all these services out on Nintendo Online. And I'm an idiot who keeps believing that'll happen someday, and it just never happens. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we got Prehistorik Man.
Yeah.
That's great. And as we said, it's not the fact that we have these lesser-known games. It's the fact that there's such a drip feed. And I think about
Yeah.
the deluge that came out with the original, like with the release of the Wii, and how even that was kind of pathetic compared to what it could have been. And now
Yeah.
it just seems so sweet. Wow, we had so many
They could
games.
release 2 games every 2 weeks, and it'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
even every month. Remember, it used to be every month. It was like reliable
Yeah.
every month, and then they went to every 2 or 3 months.
There's no regularity. I don't understand why there's not any regularity.
I don't understand. So I know that a lot of people say that, this didn't happen or that didn't happen because the developers are lazy, and that is very seldom a
hate
valid
that.
reason or
Yeah.
excuse. I do hate that.
yeah.
But what the fuck? Like putting NES ROMs on your service, like when you're Nintendo and you're putting your own games on your own service, there should be almost no
I don't
barrier.
think any of these are actually owned by Nintendo.
Well, no,
though.
I'm
they're
saying
all
that, but
third
I
party.
mean, we just talked about Earthbound. There are so many
Right.
first-party games that still aren't available on this service that Nintendo could just make available anytime they want because there's no barrier to them making them available other than marketing. They for whatever reason believe that this strategy they have is the right one, and it
Nintendo's
isn't.
weird.
It absolutely isn't. I want
And
to
I-
be in the room full of people that made this decision just to have them
Me
just
too.
explain it to
What is
me.
wrong with you people?
Yeah.
I want to know the reason. Please, I won't be mad. I'll be disappointed, but just tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen, I'm gonna
and
leave this
ironically-
room heartbroken, but I just want to understand.
Well, ironically, they've also already released at least 3 of the games that did have additional barriers to getting published on the service, which are the DKC trilogy, because Microsoft has to be involved with that to at least a small degree.
Right.
So they've already done that, and that there's much more of a barrier there, or at least something more of a barrier there than something like Earthbound or even I would say Earthbound Beginnings, or whatever. I mean, I'm not expecting anything or. Well, I would say Super Mario RPG, but I have a feeling Square is probably the blocker there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We might
Well,
never
wasn't
see
Super Mario RPG on the SNES Classic?
Yeah, it is.
That's true, but
Yes.
maybe the profit model there for Square was a bit more amenable.
I think
instead of them
Square
just,
and
you know,
Nintendo are
letting
in
Nintendo
really
drop it
good
on- yeah.
standings with each other these days. I mean, we've got Sephiroth on Smash. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
they're friends. They're kissing.
Yeah. And I've seen some people be like, "Well, where's Chrono Trigger?" And I've said it before.
That's a
I'll
good
say it
question.
again. You're going to get Chrono Trigger for $25 standalone.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Steam port, and you're going to like it. And that's all you're going to get for Chrono Trigger if you get it at all.
Yeah.
And
Would
hey,
you recommend
I
the
hope-
DS version or the SNES version?
I would
Oh,
prefer
I
the
will
DS
have a
or Steam
definitive
versions.
version that has the DS version, like DS version onto the Switch. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I will get that.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too.
Well, and
Yeah.
essentially because the Steam version has content parity with the DS version now. I'd be fine with the Steam port as well.
That's true. They fixed that up. That we were so. I remember the day that came out, and I was so mad. And I wrote the worst. I just wrote a real
Right.
screed taking Square to task for that terrible port. And, they really
patched it
stepped
like
up.
5 times.
Yeah.
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 Chrono Trigger is one of
So-
those rare games, though, that no matter what state they release it in, I will buy it.
Exactly.
Every
Same.
single
I
time.
have all.
I'm
of
like,
them.
oh, barely runs, 5 FPS. Here you go. Enjoy
I
my
have it on PlayStation too. It doesn't
Yeah.
get worse than the PlayStation port.
loading
Oh, yeah, no,
times
if
before
I-
And hey, the
battle, here
PlayStation
you
port is how I
go.
first experienced Chrono Trigger.
Oh
so.
no!
I still
So
can't believe
do
that.
you age 3
Yeah.
years while trying to play, waiting for the load times?
I didn't notice. I was so enthralled that
Ah,
I still enjoyed it. Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
it
even
is
know any
amazing.
difference. Actually, well, speaking of RPGs on this service, I'm not sure if any of you saw that the Japanese inclusions. One of their big games was Shin Megami Tensei 2,
Yeah.
Right.
which, okay, that's cool. That'd be neat to have. I don't know if that was ever translated in the States, but still.
no, I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
You know, if
okay.
you want a little bit of weird Shin Megami Tensei trivia, the first SMT/Persona game to really make it here was Jack Brothers for the Virtual Boy.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, I mean, the original Persona followed shortly thereafter, I believe. But yeah, first one was the twin stick shooter, which by all accounts, by Virtual Boy standards, was pretty good. But that's what we got, a little game starring Jack Frost on the Virtual Boy.
Nice.
Well, I love how the Shin Megami Tensei series is a spin-off. Like, there's so many... There's spin-offs of Shin Megami Tensei when Shin Megami Tensei itself is apparently a spin-off because it started out with, what, just Megami Tensei?
Mega 10, yeah.
Right.
like-
Megami Tensei.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like, what the heck? So many layers to this.
Yeah.
Delicious years.
Well,
A lot
for
of
those
people in
you
our
who-
chat wanting GBA Online as part of all
Yes.
this, which, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I
Yes.
want GBA,
How- yes.
N64, GameCube.
You know-
I mean, yeah.
The funny thing is, the GBA is experiencing such a renaissance right now. I don't
It's
know
about that time.
if you've looked into trying to get a Game Boy Advance lately, but being home and being bored and being just technical enough, I've decided that I wanted to purchase an original model Game Boy Advance because I was an idiot and got rid of mine, and I only have an SP now. I want to,
But that's the better version. I never got an SP. I only have the original, and it's I hate how
Oh,
I
you never
can't
got an
see
SP?
anything.
Oh, the SP.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
you
I
can't see
have-
shit.
I have the Naruto edition of the Game Boy Advance
Oh.
SP. So
Beautiful.
I've been a
Nice.
weeb for a long time. But also, I recently, my friend John Linneman over at Digital Foundry went through all the steps of purchasing and completely overhauling an original Game Boy Advance. Like, he installed
nice.
an IPS screen and better speakers and a rechargeable battery, made it really modern. And I wanted to do that really bad after seeing the results he came up with. And I mean, because it is just, to me, that original like sideways form factor is so much more comfortable than the SP.
True.
And I went out and I decided I went thrifting to go try to find a Game Boy Advance, which last time I went looking for one years ago was an easy thing to do for like 20 or 30 bucks. A beat up, nasty old Game Boy Advance now runs like $70-$80 online.
Mm-hmm.
If you want one that's in
Wow.
decent condition, you're paying just about what you paid for it back in the day, brand new. And once you mod these things, people are selling them for like $300 for a Game Boy Advance.
I have seen some of those modded GBA collections. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Like professionally modded GBAs are absolutely gorgeous, and I wouldn't mind owning one for sure.
Yeah, I want to make one, damn it. But I can't. You can't buy
Right.
the parts because everyone like me has gotten too bored. So
Right.
Yeah.
hopefully,
Everyone's
I still have
making stuff.
I still have my Ice Blue GBA SP somewhere, and my original. So, fun story. I was actually one of the first people in North America to have a GBA, like an original
Wow.
GBA, because I was at there was an E3 that year before the GBA's launch, where Nintendo had like a roulette table, like a Wheel of Fortune style roulette table, where you could wait in line to win prizes, and the top prize was a GBA before it was even out, and I won. I actually won a
Wow.
GBA.
I never win
but
anything like that.
But I also couldn't play any GBA games because it wasn't out yet. So I had a GBA that I could use to play OG games, but
Game
not
Boy, yeah.
actual
Game
GBA
Boy Color
games. So I
games.
had to just kind of sit on it and be like, oh man, I can't wait to play, Mario Advance. But
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was
awesome.
cool being one of the first to own
Neat.
one.
Yeah,
So, bringing things back to NES and SNES Online, for you Prehistorik Man and Doomsday Warrior stands out there, these will be available on February 17th is when all four of these games drop on the service.
Yay.
So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, right. Hopefully, I mean, again, I'm looking forward to checking out some obscure games. I do appreciate the chance to do that, but I am hoping that the next update includes, something big that we all want, like Earthbound. But we'll see. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And we have a lot of news on the Crash Bandicoot 4 front. So it has just been announced that Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, is going to hit the Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S on March 12th. So in just over a month, and it's going to be coming to PC later this year, quote-unquote, along with other fun things happening in celebration of the franchise's 25th anniversary. So who knows what that means? That could mean Crash and Smash. It could mean something completely else. Who knows?
You had to go there. Right
Crash
off the
in
bat.
Smash. I like.
Oh,
that.
I don't want to go there. Believe me, you guys know me. I don't
Oh, right.
want Crash and
See,
Smash.
I actually do want Crash and Smash.
Yeah,
so
I'm not a Crash fan. I don't want him anywhere near
I'm
Smash.
not a fan.
But it could happen. So we'll see. I'm not going to say that he doesn't deserve to be there. If he does get in, I'm just personally not a fan. A few other tidbits here. The PS4 or owners of the PS4 and Xbox One versions of Crash 4 will get the next gen upgrade at no cost.
yeah, I have the
which is
PS5 version now.
Right, which is a great thing, a really good thing that I think everybody should be doing. Judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Switch version of Crash 4 is up on the eShop for pre-order for $39.99. And yeah, so lots of stuff happening on the Crash 4 front, and I'm glad it's coming to the rest of these consoles that it had previously not been on. Derek, I know obviously you're a big Crash fan. How do you feel about this?
I think it makes sense. It actually came to Switch. I mean, it was inevitably going to come to Switch. It's what happened with the Crash trilogy, what happened with
Right.
the Spyro trilogy. It was going to it was just going to happen. A little bit earlier than would have thought. Usually it takes about a year.
Yeah.
This one only took about 6 months. And the Switch version is actually really interesting. I don't know who's porting this offhand, but I did see a comparison on Twitter looking at the graphics of the Switch version and comparing it to the original. And rather than trying to just kind of lower the quality of the visuals to try to get it to run on the Switch, they're instead doing almost a kind of cel-shaded look for it to keep the visual fidelity up and almost give it its own look. So it actually still looks pretty good on the Switch. It doesn't have I saw somebody come say, oh cool, it doesn't look like it has Vaseline smeared over it.
Yeah.
It actually has some
Right.
good visual quality, and it only being $40 is a pretty good deal. I think it was $60 on the PS4 and Xbox One. So having it as a good cheaper price, it should do very well on the Switch.
I
And
think
those free
so.
upgrades are just awesome. Like I said, I have not had a chance to really play it yet. I'm looking forward to getting a chance, and cool, I can play it on PS5 now.
Yeah, Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, I've played a bit of it on PS4, and I kind of noticed, it's not as sharp as I would like it. So I'm excited to see what the next gen upgrade does for this game, because it is just ridiculously fun. I really enjoy it. It's tough as nails as far as platforming.
I have heard.
Sure is.
So I'm at this point, I'm just gonna wait until we get the next gen upgrade, and then I'll pick it back up. But I had wanted to finish it before then, but I mean, there's no reason to continue if I can also check out the PS5 upgrades in the process. I have a digital copy, so I don't know how those upgrades work. I guess I'll just
there's instructions online.
option.
We'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah, I know. I tried to upgrade
figure
Watch
it out,
Dogs, and it was a nightmare. It took me like
Is it
2
really?
weeks to figure that out.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
mean,
Why would it take so long?
Fantasy
go
Thinker
ahead.
Fan says, "Isn't it Toys for Bob doing the port?" I just looked that up. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, but it may very well be them doing the port. I just don't know if that's actually.
I know they
been
developed the game because even though I'm not a
confirmed.
Crash fan, I'm a huge Toys for Bob fan because I'm a huge Iroquois Masters fan. So
Right.
I always love finding like the little Star Control references in their games, and they make me very happy when I find them.
Nice. They did retweet all the announcements today, so that's just maybe because they're involved with the series, or it may be because they are actually handling the Switch port. I'm not sure. By the way, I noticed a name that I don't recognize in the chat. Alessia, welcome to our live audience. We're glad to have you joined us. Today, and we hope to see you back for many more episodes. So thank you. Also, Steve G. I don't think I recognize your name either. So welcome to both of you.
To answer Alessia's question about never playing a Crash game, what do they like? Platformers where it's kind of like based around a hallway. So, you know how Mario was open? Basically, hallways you run forward or run towards the camera, or sometimes sideways, and you have a little bit of 3D motion, but it's mainly on a grid. But it's still like you break boxes, have fun platforming. It's a really good, solid series of platformers, and 4 changes up quite a bit with new masks that give you new abilities, and from what I understand, really ramps up the difficulty. So maybe not the best one to start with, but Crash Trilogy is a good one.
I would recommend Crash Trilogy.
By the way, Wolf X Blake in the chat asking the important questions. I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking about RPGs. But Wolf X Blake asks, "Who owns the right to Quintet? I want that Soul Blazer trilogy on modern
Oh my
platforms."
god! Like,
yes,
don't even get me started. Because
yeah.
I will talk about Illusion of Gaia for the rest of the episode. And
Thank you.
Quintet.
Me too. I love that game so much.
They were such a unique RPG developer that did not talk down to you, did not talk down with their themes, and they're just gone. And their catalog, I think that it's just going to languish into nothingness.
Same.
Even ActRaiser, you used to be able to get ActRaiser on the Wii Virtual Console.
Right.
I didn't realize that
Can't
was
get
them.
that anymore. It's all. It makes me so sad because they were one of those developers that really you could tell understood that video games could be used as a real medium for communication and art and even social issues. Like Illusion of Gaia tackles like a lot of really complex social issues long before
it was
became
so ahead of its
discussion.
time, right? The
It
character
was
writing
extremely ahead of its
especially.
time.
Yeah. Well, we need to have you on just to talk about Illusion of Gaia because I
Oh,
will.
please do.
As
Like, have
Derek
me
and
on for
Steve know,
Quintet.
I will talk about this game forever. I'm curious to hearing about it.
Yes.
But
Have me
yes,
on for
yes. See,
Quintet
Steve, he's
episode.
like, yeah, fucking Illusion of Gaia again. Here we go.
Oh god, here we go. Stupid kid with the flute.
Looks like their last game
Right.
was Inuyasha: The Secret of the Cursed Mask.
I'm sure that was very deep.
Very deep.
Pretty
Yeah.
deep cut.
The secret
I
is it
didn't
was
even know they.
cursed.
I had no
end
idea
roll
they made an
credits.
Inuyasha game. Huh.
I had no idea.
PS1,
Oh,
right?
theoretically, actually, the ones who have to own Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terra Enigma, I mean, it was published by Enix, so theoretically, that's all on Square. release that.
They're really scrambling to get that out.
Yeah, no, right. I'm sure that's number one on their priority list for sure. All right.
How can
well,
we make it a mobile game?
you what?
How can we make it a mobile game?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh God, Illusion of Gaia Mobile. I don't even want to think about that future. Oh man. All right. Well, with all that said, I would say it's about time for us to move on to our next news topic. And this is kind of a downer. Unfortunately, reports are now coming in that the PS5's DualSense controller could be suffering from drift. I have not seen that happen with my own as yet, but it's apparently a thing now, DualSense drift. And so the Joy-Con are not alone anymore. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to read the story yet, but I'm not sure how widespread this is. Have either of you gotten a chance to read this a little bit?
Not fully.
Yeah, I haven't read the full thing, but from
Yeah,
what I
same.
understand, it's just people, it's becoming a trend, like Joy-Con drift, but I feel
Right.
like I just like with Joy-Con drift, I've never experienced it, and I've had a PS5 controller probably longer than most people. But I also I think about, because we've all been to like a Target or someplace where they have a publicly usable controller, and that controller is just seen some shit. like the analog
it's a real
caps
it's got a
are
1,000-year
chewed
stare.
on. And I mean, I'm not saying that this is solely the fault of people being mean to their controllers, but when I know, because I'm very kind to my gaming hardware, because I don't want to replace it. I'm
right.
Yeah.
It ultimately comes from a place of cheapness, but I am always afraid of breaking, especially the more expensive these damn things get. The more ginger I am with them as I play, because I'm like, oh god, I don't want to spend $70 to replace.
It's another game. I could have got a game with that money.
Exactly. Once controllers started costing as much or more than video games, I got really gun shy about how they were handled. So I just I don't know. I wonder if people are just jamming on these things, thinking that they're going to survive, or what's happening.
If, maybe, like, I remember real reports about Joy-Con drift becoming a problem came out several months when people had time to really wear down their Joy-Cons a bit. I feel like the PS5 is still kind of a little too new to start panicking about chronic Joy-Con drift. Maybe give it a few more months, because if you remember when the Switch Lite came out, people were like, oh my god, look, the Joy-Con drift is happening all over again. But no, it was just some manufacturing errors, like, with some consoles were manufactured. You know how that happens.
Yeah.
Right.
But my second line of thought is that, well, if it's happening, and this is something I thought of earlier today, is there something about the HD Rumble?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
That's the common thread, because the same people worked on the HD Rumble and the DualSense controller. So it's like,
That's a really good point, Nadia. Yeah, I wonder if that is the thread there, the common thread that could be
just something jangling around. It
Yeah.
can't be good for the controller. I mean, that's just my view on it. I'm pretty gentle with my Joy-Cons and my hardware, and I still had Joy-Con drift. It just
same.
happened. So there's not much you can do about it. And I feel like, of course, everything has wear and tear day by day, and I feel if you have that combined with something going on with HD Rumble that's really taxing the other components in the controller, there could be something going on. It's just I'm not an engineer by any means, it's just speculation.
right.
Yeah, it is an interesting. Yeah, I totally agree that Switch Joy-Con Rumble is absolutely a thing. I've just been really lucky, I guess, and I've never had it happen.
You're lucky.
Yeah. Well, I also have tons of Joy-Con, and I think I switched them out enough. But I swap my Joy-Con all the time, so I very seldom play with the same pair more than like once or twice, just because I like changing the colors of it. But I have to wonder, that is interesting, because you talk about HD Rumble, and all the things inside those Joy-Con are shaking constantly, and I wonder how much Nintendo or in this case Sony thought of, well, what's going to happen over the years or over months or weeks or whatever as these things rumble consistently over time, because I've seen some controller teardowns, and they always seem like such delicate things inside.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Right.
And with how much you have to cram into them these days, they're probably using some very delicate and small parts.
Yeah. I've been lucky enough that my official pair of Joy-Con have not experienced drift, amazingly, but the second pair I got to mod them, they unfortunately have started drifting quite badly. So I don't know why. I don't know what about the modding process perhaps made that more likely. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to have been able to avoid that with my unmodded official pair of Joy-Con. And my DualSense so far is fine as well. According to the Kotaku article we're sourcing this story from, one user reported the issue 10 days after receiving their PS5 and said they tried every possible fix, including power cycling the PS5, turning on and off Bluetooth, resetting the controller, and also charging it fully overnight, and nothing fixed the drift. There's also another 15-second clip going around on Reddit where you can see some drift happening while playing Destiny 2. And unfortunately, it does seem as though that your options for getting a repair are pretty slim at the moment. Sony has a support page which has a dedicated portal for issues with PS5 hardware, including the controller. But that's really it, I guess. And I know when the author of this article tried hitting up support, they said they were told to reach out to a different customer service outlet for support. So it seems like it's a bit of a mess right now in terms of actually getting your controller fixed, and it may also just take a long time because PS5's, the hot shit right now. So
they're still trying to make enough of these things before you start worrying about fixing them.
Yeah, exactly. They did say that once they eventually made it through to a person, they were told that DualSense Drift is covered under warranty, but you do have to pay for shipping to your controller to a repair center. So at least it's covered, but it is kind of crappy that you have to pay shipping yourself.
Yeah. I mean, Amy and I just finally gathered up the Joy-Cons that we have that are drifting, which I think are 5 pairs in total.
Wow.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
That is unlucky.
And I sent those in. So hopefully they'll be getting back soon and work. That'd be nice.
I do have to say, through all this, and it's something that I don't think we've talked about before, Nintendo's customer service is legendarily good. They
sent us the stuff very quick.
Oh yeah, I remember two particular instances. Once I had just bought my first flat screen TV back in the day, and I ordered the Wii component cables so that I could get the best picture out of my console, and I ordered it direct from Nintendo because at the time nobody was selling them at brick and mortar stores, and they didn't get it to me on time. It was going to arrive the day after, and being that online tracking wasn't what it was back then, I called them just to ask where they were. And they're like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry you don't have them." And they sent me the strategy guide for Twilight Princess just as a sorry your stuff didn't arrive on time. On an arbitrarily decided date. The other time, I had an issue with the hinge on my 3DS XL, and I sent it in to get repaired, and it came back, and the hinge was still floppy. I wasn't even mad. And I just called back, and I was like, "Hey, guys, I got my 3DS back, and it's not really fixed. It still has the same issue." And so they sent me a brand new 3DS XL without having to give them back the one that had the hinge problem, and they sent me 2 games.
Wow.
For no reason. I wasn't even upset.
They love you.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Nintendo's just when it comes to the issues I have with Nintendo, I don't even get mad when it's a rare hardware flaw, just because I'm like, they always treat me so nice. It's never been an issue for me, though. The one thing I will mention that I had to send for Switch related, and it was really confusing. The Switch was the first console I ever got a review unit for. And so, it's not like I could ask people about quirks with my Switch, because I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
And my left Joy-Con had a wireless problem that I would only find out later was a real thing. But I would play Breath of the Wild, and I wanted to try just playing it with my Joy-Con in my hands, and Link would just go running off yonder no matter what I pushed. And I thought that it was a drift when people started talking about it. It turned out that there was a weird, in the first batch or the early production runs of Joy-Con, there was a signal attenuation issue with the left Joy-Con, where if you grabbed it, it would just not communicate well with the console. And so people found out that if you sent it to Nintendo, they would just install some foam inside the Joy-Con to stop your hand from blocking the signal. And I had to have that done. But yeah, I was really bummed out when I got my first review console ever, and I was like, oh, it doesn't work. This is really bad.
You got the beta version.
Yeah, fortunately they sent a Pro controller with it, but I had to play everything that way until Nintendo opened up the repair program for Joy-Con.
Wow. I mean, I knew their customer support was great, but that's next level great, Steve.
I know.
Wow, that's fantastic. So I guess, I imagine the DualSense repairs will kind of start catching up and be, the turnaround time will be a little faster as they start getting PS5s to all the people who want them. But for now, here's hoping ours don't suffer from this problem, because I love that controller. I've gone on the record many times about how in love I am with DualSense, and especially its haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. So
yeah,
if that is what's causing the drift in these controllers, I will say that's a worthy sacrifice for me, because again, I think the haptics are amazing, and I'm willing to deal with that. But yeah, hopefully this is not that widespread an issue, and it is just people maybe being a little too aggressive with their controllers. But again, I also don't want to blame the consumers out there who are saying this is happening to them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Before we move on, I want to say welcome to I lost them. Damn it. Liehord in the chat. I wanted to say welcome because I don't recognize your name. And also, Going back to Crash Bandicoot for a second, C-Store24 says, fun fact, the working title for Crash, the original Crash Bandicoot, was Sonic's Ass Game. I'm not joking. And I looked this up. True. I didn't know that. That is true. And
you
that
didn't know
explains
that.
so much. No.
You have
that
learned
explains
a lot
everything. Yeah.
It's because you were constantly looking at his butt.
Clearly. No, but that explains a lot for me. I actually really did not know that. And that's so weird, but okay. I don't know. I guess it was a joke code name from whatever.
Oh, yeah. It definitely was
Makes
a joke
sense.
code name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd pay for a game on the shelf that said Sonic's Ass.
I mean, I was going to say, I don't know if Sonic's Ass
Naughty
is the kind
Dog
of
did
thing you
not
joke
take
about.
themselves as seriously back in the PS1 and PS2 days.
They did not.
Yeah. Eduardo Tena accusing you of flexing, Steve, talking about your incredible games from Nintendo customers.
Steve's always flexing.
Man, I don't. I was just trying to paint a picture of how they're really nice, but I mean, I don't even know where that 3DS XL is anymore. Probably in my garage. But
Yeah.
Speaking of flexing, I just realized my PS5 box fell off the little table I had it on, so you can't see it anymore.
Oh no, you can't flex
Usually I have
anymore.
it usually I have it in the back behind me, like Steve always has his PS5 in view, and of course Derek has his DualSense. But
Yeah, I try to stay on theme, so we have Crash and DualSense news, so that's why they're there.
yeah,
Nice.
for me, I'm just for those of you in the GV gang that don't know, I'm just hiding my unmade bed over here. So
Nice.
But you
there's
have nice
nothing
lighting. I do have to
fancy
compliment
left
you.
of me.
Charlie Bird mentioning something I hope none of us ever live to see: Sonic Booty Simulator. Let's hope that never comes to.
I'm sure that's
I'm
already
sure
a mod.
someone's done it.
It's probably already a thing. Yeah.
out there.
Sounds
All right.
prickly.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, with that said, I think it's time to move on from Sonic Booty Simulators and DualSense Drift to McScalpers. Let's go ahead and get our next news story up on screen.
Woo!
And this sucks. This is basically Team Rocket made Manifest in real life. But essentially, there are exclusive Pokemon trading card game cards that are being sold in Happy Meals. And because people are people and scalpers are scalpers, people are buying them up in mass to resell them on sites like eBay and such for like 5 times their actual price. And like I'm reading here, this article comes from IGN, by the way. I'm reading that someone bought 3 cases around which equates to about 450 packs of these cards from a McDonald's in southern Indiana. And
Why?
so now, of course, it's making it very difficult for the people who actually really want these cards, fans, kids, people who really should have them. They're getting priced out of these things because people are buying them up. And it's also gross, too, because like I'm also reading that people are just buying a bunch of Happy Meals, throwing away the food, and keeping the cards.
Because they're not letting them buy.
Wasteful.
In order to try to curb people just buying up the stock, they're saying you have to get the
Right.
food with it, but it's not stopping them.
Well, and it's also such a waste of food. I know the story here is
really
about the
is.
Pokemon cards, obviously, but I just hate to hear that people are buying up all these Happy Meals and throwing away the food that people could use.
Well,
I
apparently
feel like how valuable could something from a fast food promotion even be? We all remember those gold Burger King cards that aren't worth anything these days, and
True.
I don't know if anyone tried to scalp
I
them,
guess, looking here, apparently there's 50 cards to collect, 25 standard and 25 hollow versions. So there's actually a good variety of cards in this whole deal.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets to me is just, apparently this has just been a thing with scalpers and Pokemon cards, because apparently the latest set has been really hard to get. Something happened all of a sudden where it became a market for scalpers again, and they're just going nuts. I don't quite understand.
I think it's
completely.
If I had to guess, it's all those stories that we've been seeing lately about people selling like first gen Charizards for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I need to look that up because I have one.
Yeah, you better go
Do you
sell
really?
that shit.
You should retire. Retire on your Charizard.
I will sell that thing for $100,000 easily. What the
I
hell?
want to
In a
say
second, are you kidding
someone
me?
sold one for. I know for a fact that card is worth a stupid amount of money. In fact, first
Is it?
gen.
I know there's the Pikachu Illustrator card, which is probably the most valuable card. It was part of a
Right.
Korokoro promotion. And there's like 20 of them out there. And God knows how many are actually in good condition.
Okay, so Derek, in 2017, a first edition Charizard Holo sold for over $55,000.
Well, there's a house
Put it down.
payment. Hold on. I will be
gonna
right
say,
back.
put a
I gotta
down
go
payment
find
down.
this card to make sure this is like what the differences are. I'll be right back.
Derek's
Hold
about
on.
to quit GVG live on the air.
I really
This
hope
is
we
like-
find out Derek is suddenly a Pokemon TCG millionaire live on stream.
It's like
That would
Ken
be
Brockman
amazing.
winning the lottery on air. I won. Ooh, many people
Yeah.
killed. Goodbye.
Yeah, somebody
That's-
sold last year. Somebody sold a Charizard for $220,000. I guess I should have read him
Wow.
that number off first, but good.
I really
God.
wish I had collected these things as a kid because I would have no qualms about
Yeah, I don't.
parting
I
with
never
any of
collected
those
the cards.
Oh, I know. I have a bunch of Marvel 1993 cards that, man, I would.
Okay.
If they were worth a damn, I'd get rid of them.
So I
You can
have
fire out of them.
pretty much a complete set of the original basic pack of stuff, including all the hollows. Got the hollow Charizard. I got the hollow Gyarados and Mudchamp and Blastoise and all that. And I remember distinctly when I got this card,
Oh boy.
which
I don't know anything about Pokemon cards, but
yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what makes
I
it.
wouldn't be able to vet these for you, but
I remember I got it back in the day, and I remember distinctly opening up the trading card pack, seeing this in there because it was mythical even then, and fell to my knees excited like, yes, I got it.
Nice.
How can you tell if it's first edition? It
That is
might
a
be a
good
reprint.
question.
That seems pretty
I was
likely.
gonna say I can't remember if the Charizard is even valuable because if there was maybe a printing error or something like that, and that they reprinted it.
Yeah,
yeah, it's entirely possible. I don't know enough about these, but
it's at the bottom.
Drew
Listen,
hashtag
I need to borrow
millionaire
some
Derek
money.
or millionaire Dare. Nice. Or Million Derek. I like that.
Should be in the corner of the art. Or...
Million Dare.
Kai Ed says, don't touch with your hand or you'll ruin it.
Learn to hover.
No greasy fingers.
I
gotta be very
get
careful.
clean hands. I don't know. Let me just take a look real quick. But yeah, the thing is that kind of sucks about this whole thing. This is for kids. They're still like this whole thing is stopping them from really enjoying that sort of thing.
Scalpers
And
are ruining everything these days, and it's really aggravating in the age
Yeah.
of COVID and lockdown.
It really sucks. And there's also, there's some really thick irony there with the fact that, Team Rocket is a thing. And this is essentially what Team Rocket does. They want to buy and sell Pokemon for profit. And this is kind of that in a card version way. It's weird. And Team Rocket, guys, in case you weren't aware, Team Rocket are the villains. You're not supposed to emulate the villains.
oh come on, everybody loves Jesse and James.
That's
I like
true.
Meowth.
That's true.
So I found a Charizard first edition on eBay that apparently somebody's trying to sell for $10,000.
Not bad.
Wow.
I don't see a
Jeez.
difference between it and my card.
Oh damn, he should retire. Like I said, sell all that shit
Yeah.
off. You're a millionaire now. You don't need this
How
racket.
do you,
Yeah,
How
man,
does
you
this
could
need
have
a
gotten
racket?
all the
You guys are cool.
PS5s with that.
Yeah,
Right.
buy one for me, please.
There
I,
we
Yeah,
right.
right.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to.
I could use an extra one for the office.
Oh.
So I can capture from it.
Well, me looking this up, I think we find apparently this all started back with Logan Paul, who bought $2 million worth of Pokemon cards, and I guess they blew up because of that.
Gross.
Influence.
Yeah. Somehow Logan Paul found a way to infiltrate today's news tonight and deliver bad news for Derek. In the meantime, while Derek is researching that, I just want to give a shout out to Humble Jojo, who says, my favorite McFlurry flavor is Vanillite. Why are they not doing that?
You're right.
That's
Oh my
brilliant.
God. Eat a Pokemon now. Eat it today.
I would totally get a Vanillite branded McFlurry.
Oh,
Are you
they
kidding me?
need to take advantage of Vanillite much,
What would it be
much,
like?
much more. Yeah,
Vanilla
They-
blueberry, like kind of because of the blue
Yes.
cone. Like I could see that.
Yeah.
But I don't like blueberry. But think of something.
They got to do Vanillite for small, Vanillish for medium, and Vanillux for large. This is just waiting to happen. It's marketing
Yeah.
dollars waiting to happen. Eddie Beals, though, says Miltank McDoubles, and I don't know if that
probably
lands
won't
fly.
quite the same way. That's really dark, man. That's
Okay,
really dark.
so I can confirm I finally found something that actually shows it. It is not a first edition.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Retirement must wait.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
It's
You can't
not a
leave.
first edition.
Back to the
You
salt
can't
mines.
walk away from GVG and with your piles and piles of money tonight.
That's
Sorry.
fine. I wouldn't leave you guys anyway.
Aw.
But
Aw.
But he would get a sweet grill that says Charizard on it.
Yeah.
that is true.
His teeth.
But hey, I have that memory of me as a kid, and I just needed to see a visual example of why. But maybe regular. I think that thing on eBay though was still $10,000 for a non-first edition, even though they're saying it's rare 1999 doing that. But I doubt it's worth as much.
Yeah.
So I can still get a decent amount of money off this thing compared to like a $10 pack.
There you go.
Well,
Your
sorry to hear
investment.
that, man. But
It happens.
yeah, what are you gonna do? I don't think I even have any Pokemon cards to go look up. I just never bothered. I love the games.
I
obviously,
have
and
the
played
promotional
games.
Like when I went to see Detective Pikachu, they gave me a bunch of cards, and I stuck
Oh,
them
I
in my
do have
purse.
those somewhere.
And
Yeah, I have all
every
those
time-
too.
Every time I need to find something, I rifle through my purse, and there's like a handful of Pokemon cards, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of these, but they've been with me for this long.
Gotcha.
Oh, here we go. I have a first edition Sabrina's Drowsy.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, I think it's about time for us to move on to our final news story of the day. And I've been sitting on this story for a while, specifically waiting for you to come on the show, Nadia, because
Hey.
you are obviously a fellow Mega Man fan
Hell
and
yes.
hardcore Mega Man fan. So let's go ahead and get that story up on screen. And all I can say about this is sizzling circuits, because
Oh,
we got materials, unearthed materials from a potentially more anime styled version of the old Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon before it was redrawn to look more like a traditional Western cartoon. And this stuff is wild. And I'm sure you have poured over this just like I have, right, Nadia?
Yes, and I actually wonder, and maybe this has been covered, and I just had missed it, but there was a time when, back in the earliest days of Mega Man internet fandom, people were passing around the original promotional tape for the Mega Man cartoon, and it also looked extremely anime. Mm-hmm. And at some point it was decided that Mega Man needed abs. So you will find kind of traces of that old concept in the intro for the Mega Man cartoon, which still looks actually very anime for that specific reason.
It does. It does, yeah. And you can certainly tell, especially that the anime influence really comes through in the opening of the cartoon, which
Yes.
I'm still convinced is where they spent like 98% of the budget, because the cartoon itself does not look anywhere near as good as the opening does. And even in 2021, that opening is still hype as hell.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it looks great, but the show does not look like it at all.
So,
No, this show had its moments, though. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, it's all right. I was reading one of the articles, the Rockman Corner one, and apparently it had an update on the 26th that went into more detail. Apparently they did find the origins of this, where it says on Rockman Corner, acclaimed animation director and character designer Nobuyoshi Habara has come forward to reveal that he worked on this project. In a Twitter thread between myself and Habara, he indicated that this Rockman anime was indeed in development at Ashi Productions in 1992, 2 years before the studio signed on for the Ruby Spears cartoon. Habara drew the first two cells himself as part of the planning phase. The project was intended to be the very first Rockman animated series for TV. Unfortunately, the project stopped at the planning stages. Ashi Productions changed course and started development on an unrelated short film about traffic safety for young children. While not directly related to the Ruby Spears cartoon, some ideas from this would-be 1992 Rockman anime were reused in Ruby Spears. These include a focus on Dr. Wily, Cutman, and Gutsman, and an evil Proto-Man as the primary antagonists.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I always thought that the evil Proto-Man was just, like, I understood why, because of Mega Man 5, but I always thought it was
Right.
just ignorant Americans, quote-unquote, not understanding that, oh, no, he was Darkman all along, you stupid idiots, can't you see? He was Proto-Man's still good.
My only basis for Mega Man was the Ruby Spears cartoon, so I'm like, oh, he's just an evil brother. There's that trope, and then you play it's like, he's not evil.
He's not evil,
always
yeah.
like,
No, but Scott McNeil did a really good job as Proto-Man in that.
Yeah, he did.
cartoon.
Oh yeah, he was so good. I love that even if that was a technically inaccurate portrayal of the character, I love that we got that really brash, obnoxious, bro-like version of Proto Man who's just
Me too.
an asshole.
Totally the
And
opposite of the games. In the games, it's like, leave me alone, I'm not talking to you. In the cartoon, he's just up screaming in Mega Man's face all the time. It's fantastic.
And he's just always egging him on, and he kind of talks like this, and he's
Kinda
really
like,
annoying
bro.
little bro. He's just
Let's
so
listen to Guns N' Roses,
obnoxious.
bro.
You what?
I was saying, let's go listen to Guns N' Roses, bro.
Oh my god, it's time for a mega battle, little bro. And I mean, so much of that cartoon, I love it. Even if it's a mess, and it is a mess. It is an absolute mess, but it definitely gave us a really unique look at the Mega Man world that we never would have gotten otherwise. And I mean,
Sometimes I look
Cutman's
back on
iconic
it.
Voice. Yeah, looking back on it, yeah.
And it's like you could tell the episodes that because I think episodes in the 80s and 90s of any cartoon used a template that they just filled in the blanks and called it a day.
Yeah.
And then once in a while with a cartoon, you got a writer who did care. Like when you had a Zelda episode with Bob Forward, you knew you were going to get a good episode. And I think that was the case with Mega Man, because you had a lot of episodes that were just kind of mediocre. They were fine, good guy, bad guy, blah, blah, blah. You got a couple that were just, what the hell was going on? Like the Lion Man episode, I don't know to this day who was on what drugs, but it was pretty bad. And then you had the episodes that were pretty good, if inaccurate, like Mega X is a great example. Oh my God, we finally seen Mega Man X. That was so incredible. He's out there shooting the hell out of everything. This pacifist is just wrecking the world that he doesn't even know or understand, just for any cost whatsoever. But it was still so cool to see Mega Man X in that cartoon, even though he had like 50 times more abs than the original Mega Man.
I showed Amy the President Lincoln clip because she had not seen it before, so she lost her mind watching that. And then just today, I saw another clip from the Movie Spears cartoon where they're at a theme park and a guy in a kangaroo suit comes up to him. And Rush is like suspicious, and then bites the tail off the kangaroo costume, and it just zooms in, and it's Gutsman's butt, and Mega Man realizes it, sees Gutsman's butt, it's like Gutsman, and then of course they rip off the costume, and Gutsman was in the pouch.
You've seen the Gutsman's ass meme video, like that's legendary. You
should show Amy the Pharaoh Man punching Mega Man clip where Mega Man's like, now I've got your power, and Pharaoh Man just punches his ass, just like doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even say anything. Boop.
I also loved how Proto Man would like the way he would pronounce character names like Gutsman, Cutman, Waveman. He would never say man; he would say mun. And I think other characters would do that as well. Huh?
I don't know. People are always making fun of the way I pronounce things, like as a Canadian way. I have no idea, but maybe he was the same way. I don't know. We apparently we have funny accents.
Oh, hey, fair enough. I've not noticed anything, but if you say so.
That's just what I've been told. Sometimes people say I pronounce things kind of weird, but it could
enough.
Could be the case with him. But either way, yeah, you're right. He wouldn't say like Cutsman or Bomb Man. Mun.
Yeah, mun. Yeah. Doodle says Ash is right. This intro is rad. I'm watching it right now. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the old Mega Man cartoon, definitely check out the intro. It's great. And
that's the best part by far.
Wataniac mentions one of my favorite quotes from the series. Let's have a mega battle in Mega City, little bro. God, I love this show. Steve, have you seen this show at all? You've been pretty quiet. Oh, sorry.
I've seen some of it, but it didn't stick with me. So.
I can't imagine
sure.
why.
Yeah, right.
How could it not be burned into your psyche?
I used to watch Captain N a lot.
See, I've never watched any. I've never seen a single episode of Captain N.
Yeah, that's most where I associate bad cartoon Mega Man is with Captain N.
Yeah, because he's a chain smoker in that one.
Yeah.
How strict are you guys about like swearing on here?
Oh no, we're all.
Have you noticed what's?
Okay,
have you noticed, Steve?
I have a story. Grade 7, I think it was. There was a boy who kind of wanted to impress me, and he knew I was into games, and he knew we both kind of like Captain N, and we talk about it. One day he stands up in the middle of science class and says, "I'm mega horny. I need a mega condom," and he got kicked out.
What?
I'm
sorry,
like,
who touched that?
Like I said, I think he wanted to impress
Dumb
me.
7-year-olds.
Well, that's how you impress a
No,
woman,
he
right?
wasn't. Not 7-year-olds. Grade 7.
Oh,
so we were like,
7th grader. Sorry.
Yeah. So it was a little
dumb
old
7th graders.
7, but it was still pretty bad. And
I can't
that was
believe
a story.
Man,
Well,
that would make
there was a better
great,
incident where two boys stood up in the middle of math class and said, "Do the Mario, swing your arm from side to side," and that wasn't as dirty, but they still got kicked out.
No.
Right.
Oh man, that's amazing. And he thought that would impress you?
He thought that would impress me, I suppose, and he was a nice kid, but yeah, no.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how impressed were you by that?
Negative
show of
2.
affection?
Fair
enough. Hey,
it's
got
really
a point.
funny to look back on in retrospect, but it was it wasn't great at the time.
Oh, Yoko Gaming. Oh God, get
That's so
equipped with
good.
protection.
Yeah, that's so good.
Oh,
man.
no.
Eduardo Tena says that's the best pickup line ever, and it's close. I will say I did once witness an old friend of mine try to pick up somebody at a bar once by saying, "Baby, you're like a fireball. You're like a fireball. You're downright fierce." It didn't work. It didn't work, nor should it have worked.
No.
But he really tried it, and it didn't work at all.
You're downright. That's pretty good.
It's good. It's clever, but I don't know if it should work.
In my experience, pickup lines don't really work.
Right.
I've never tried them personally, but it just doesn't seem like it would.
How familiar are
Rob-
you guys with Skyrim? Sorry, Ash.
Oh no, it's okay. I am familiar enough with it to know that it has giant tarantulas that you have to fight in first person, and so I'm never playing it in my life. That's about the extent of it.
Well, there's a character, a preacher, who sits there and rants about Talos, the god of the sky of the people from Skyrim, and someone was saying that a perfect pickup line to any a perfect response to any really annoying pickup line is to just shout back this guy's whole sermon at whoever's saying it to you, because it goes on and on and on.
Oh God!
Like, hey baby, are you from space? Because Talos the Great, Talos the Unerring, we are just Magus before you, and just kind of go on until the person loses interest. I've always wanted to try that.
No, I could see that. I could see that certainly working.
Turns out the guy's actually a Skyrim fan and just becomes more interested. It's like,
oh no! now you've made a cult.
Or with Eddie Beals' idea, you have it turn it around on you. Hey, baby, can I buy you a drink? Sure, you can. He completely turned around on you. Eduardo Tena with the classic Scott Pilgrim pickup line. Hey, do you know why it's called Pac-Man? So good. So good. That actually, amazingly, the Ruby Spears anime stuff is not the only bit of Mega Man news we have. This last other bit is not as exciting, unfortunately, but that is that Rockman VR, targeted virtual world, is unfortunately shutting down, along with Capcom Plaza's VRX corner, location on February 14th, which unfortunately dashes any post-pandemic hopes I had of making it back to Japan in time to play this thing. Because I really wanted to. I
wonder how I would have done.
Go.
Oh, I was just saying, I wonder how I would have done, because with me and VR don't mix very well. I tend to
Fair
get
enough.
very motion sick.
Yeah, I know that you apparently it's about just fighting Blockman for Mega Man 11, but obviously in VR, and you get to you're Mega Man and you're using the Mega Buster. That sounds awesome. I want to try it, but and I did go to. Thankfully, I was able to make it to Japan for the recent anniversary concert that happened, and so my wife and I went to. That was amazing. We were thinking of taking a trip anyway, and she's like, "What? This Mega Man concert is happening in some. Let's just go to Japan, make that our concert, or make that our vacation, so we can get you to this Mega Man concert." And yes,
sweet.
my wife is amazing. She's incredible. So we did that, and that was a wonderful experience. But I wanted to try to go back to play Rockman VR, but then of course the pandemic happened, and not going to happen. Maybe it'll get ported though, possibly.
I hope so.
I'm looking at this, and it has a chance because it's played with a retail-based HTC Vive Pro and a regular PC. So there you go.
And partially in English too.
I love you guys, but it's never happening.
I doubt
I have had
probably
the
not
same
at
wish
all.
about Mario Kart VR, about
Yes.
Dragon Ball VR, and now Mega Man VR, and they all run on
never
bog
gonna happen.
standard ass VR hardware, and for whatever reason, they just don't release these things.
Boo.
Sorry.
Cowards.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm certainly not getting my hopes up, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there will be some sort of workaround, or maybe it'll leak at some point, who knows. But
Yeah.
I would like this not to be lost to time, just because I don't know if there will ever be another Mega Man VR thing ever again. So, would be nice to experience, but...
If I had to guess, it's that these VR experiences are too shallow to bring to retail, like for people to purchase and own forever, but they are great for like charging $25 or $30 for you to play it for 10 minutes, and people come away blown away. But when you suddenly have it available whenever you want and the novelty wears off, you're like, wow, they really did just sell me one level of a game.
Yeah.
It's kind of my face in it.
It's kind of the same problem you have with like old school beat 'em ups. Like, as much as I love them, like games like TMNT 89 or Simpsons or Turtles in Time, they're amazing when you play them in arcade and you have a limited amount of funds to play them with, and they feel so new and amazing and exclusive. But then when you download it on MAME and you just play through it with no limitations whatsoever, you realize just how short and kind of, to the point they are, and obviously designed to just suck your quarters.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll love to Shadows over Mistara, because that's like one of my favorite arcade games ever. But yeah, it's pretty much the case.
Right. Okay, well, with that said, that brings us to the end of the day's gaming news. But before we wrap up, as always, Nadia, please tell our lovely audience where they can find you.
Well, lovely audience, you can find me at Twitter at Nadia Oxford. That's nice and easy. And please listen and maybe subscribe to our RPG podcast. That's Axe of the Blood God. To do that, you just go to patreon.com/bloodgodpod. We actually have a really hopping Discord, and we'd love to have you join us and have a good time. And since we are almost at the $5,000 level, that means we are going to be playing Final Fantasy XIV. So we're actually already planning things like free companies, getting all our stuff in order, and this will be Kat's first foray into Final Fantasy XIV. So I've been teasing her about how she's going to Catboy hell.
I mean, I made a Catboy when I tried my free trial.
I totally have a Catboy. He's a Mikote, Keeper of the Moon. Secret of the Sun or Keeper of the Moon? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I don't think I went Moon. I think I went Sun.
I gotta go with the Moon. They're so sullen and angry at everything.
I was trying to be cheerful.
Do you get to choose the server you join when you start playing? Okay, cool. Because I might want to join the one that you and Kat are on, so we can all play together.
I think they're. I might have misunderstood this in the update, but I think they're starting to finally converge that stuff, so you don't have to worry about it as much.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Someone can probably correct me on that one, but thank God, that's like one of the biggest failings of the game, is that, yes, you have to kind of all be on the same data centers. Not so much the servers anymore, but like I'm on Primal, and I have an alt on Crystal, and I can't remember which one is full of the horny people. I think that's
all of them.
I think that's Primal. Primal's getting a reputation.
All
so,
of them.
Yeah.
I've heard that I just ended up following a lot of people, a lot of friends who happen to be into Final Fantasy 14, and I get little snippets of 14 stuff as I go through Twitter, which is kind of why I've been interested in Final Fantasy 14, because some of this stuff kind of clicks, and other times I like, oh, that's the horny server. I'm like, okay.
This is the horny server. You just walk in. There was this thing on Twitter where someone walked into their own house, because you can have your own house, and there's an orgy going on. And it's like, guys, can you go have an orgy somewhere else? And they're like, no. And
so that's just college.
And it's like, your house is really good for having orgies in. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that lovely compliment, right? Well, I am looking forward to. It sounds as though I have a ton of people to enjoy the FF14 experience with when I do eventually start playing. And despite the fact that I really probably don't have time to devote to FF14, I have pretty much decided that I'm going to start playing it anyway.
There's always time.
I'll have to make it, because I've just been told by too many people too many times that I have to play it.
An hour or two a week, I guess.
Right.
Squeeze in what you can.
All right, well, as always, before we sign off, we have to give a profuse thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier for helping to make this show happen, because without you, it would not be happening. So thank you so much. But in addition, of course, as always, a huge, massive thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And here we go. This list gets bigger and bigger every day.
Awesome.
But those wonderful folks include Jonathan Belmare, Brandon Bovia, Rob R-Man... Oh, I'm supposed to be like doing a little dance. Rob R-Man X, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, Floating Mew, Christopher, The D-Pad, Guillaume Monet, Vesmio, Waffle King, Nick Waterman, Kitty Kong Fax, Vedran Hotik, Makalau, and a new patron, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Shadow the Cat, Azran127, Kinbrule09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Shiny Turkey, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Charlie Bird, Mitchell Herring, Lucky Wonderfish, Top Dog 23100, Brooke, Young Ben Kenobi, Charles Zods, Douglas Chomix, Andrew Medeiros, Aram M, Brady Power, Phantom 23, Scott Barber, Rocks the Cat, Loyal Dingo, Flaming Highwayman, Sean Garrett, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Master Lynx, Sean Davis, Deaneth, Jackson Jordan, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Ashish Joshi, Goran Amber, Straight Lace, Seth Walker, Hoobie, Marcos Conchas, Wolf X Blake and Moon Macarons, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Synchro Lord, Brainchild, Rosa Pardo Bowling,
Hi, Mom.
Aww.
Dark Umi 87, The Flying Tacos, and Scuff 196. Thank you all so much. That list is just more and more humbling every single day that I read it. Thank you so much. In the future, though, I think I'm going to have to limit my dancing to when I'm not actually reading it off, because that's not easy to do. Dance and read them off at the same time. But yes, thank you so much to all of you for your incredible support. So for those of you who are not supporting us on Patreon, if you are interested in how you can do so, go check us out over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can support us for as little as $1 a month or $5 a month if you want to join the live audience tier and interact with us and our special guests like our patrons did during this very show. But as always, whether you support us on Patreon or not, even if you just drop a like and a subscribe, we super appreciate you, and that is wonderful support regardless. So thank you to all of you, and we'll see you on Friday for our next episode of Today's News Tonight. Until then, good night and good vibes, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
So long.